There we go. All right. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to let you take over, Brenda. You can decide who prays or how we do this. So I'm just going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
Okay. Well, Johnny likes to always open in prayer, so I was going to ask him to open in prayer.
Sounds great. All right. So, dear Lord, thank you for gathering us here today to study your word. Help us acknowledge where we need to acknowledge. And after this Bible study, help me get this food because I'm hungry. Amen.
Amen.
Just a minute, because I forgot how I shared the screen.
Okay, let's see. All right, down the bottom right. I'm trying to. Okay, so you'll have a plus sign, a two screen sign, a smiley, and then a messenger sign. The two screen sign. If you click on that, left click on that, then you should be able. Then there should be a spot that says share screen.
I mean, how do I'm trying to figure out how I get to, there we go. No, I found it. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
Oh, did something. I looked over this one a little bit. It should, basically, we're just going over genealogy, so it shouldn't be too difficult.
There we go.
Okay,
Hang
there.
on to your hats, folks.
Oh, shoot. You wasn't supposed to see that till the end.
That's all right. It's still funny. I'll still laugh at the end. I'll pretend I didn't see that.
Okay. Okay, so chapter 10 of Genesis is the table of nations. And at first I thought it was just going to be another genealogy, but after I started studying it, I thought, well, this isn't just a genealogy. Um, it actually tells,
Oh.
um, uh, well, it actually tells where each one of Noah's sons inhabit the earth. Like, because it shows how those sons and why did it put sons in there twice? Sons and daughters scattered throughout the land to populate the area around the Mediterranean Sea. Um, and every Bible study that I've ever done on Genesis has always grouped chapter 9, 10, and 11 together. And until we started studying each one separately, I realized why. Because they kind of all go together as one but separate, if that makes any sense. Because a lot of what I was finding in chapter 10 also pertains to chapter 11. Um, like, uh, like this chapter mainly shows how they scattered throughout the land, probably after the Tower of Babel when the languages were confused. But it's also like a genealogy of them, which I learned there was two types of genealogy. One is a horizontal, which is like your family tree, but the other is like vertical, like what you see in Genesis 5 and Genesis 11, and those move more quickly and it shows a legitimate descent from line of blessing. But chapter 10 illustrates how Noah's sons spread out to make the people populate the earth. It follows Noah's prophecy to explain the origins of 70 nations all over the world. Although I was trying to find where else they went in the world, but all I could find was just around the Mediterranean Sea. So maybe it's not in the Bible. I'm thinking it's probably not listed in the Bible, the other nations or the other countries. But 70 names signifies the totality in the Bible. And the table of nations, it documents the scattering of people after the Tower of Babel in chapter 11. But God commanded Noah's family to multiply and fill the earth, and this is where you get that. Even though they were a rebellious people, they did spread throughout the earth. But what Table of Nations mainly showed me was just around the Mediterranean Sea. Again, it also says that human history reflects the plan of God. The nations listed were divided by language and geographically, especially after chapter 11, which we'll find out why that is next week. But one thing I had learned, but the teacher that went into this didn't really explain Genesis 10 is a written document. Genesis 10's written document is linear in the genealogy, and it precedes Babel and follows it as well, but the teacher I studied this under never really explained that, so I was wondering if either one of you knew anything about that and what he meant by that.
Okay. Hold on. Try and let the dog out. Figured she'd stop irritating me. And you need to be quiet. You can't come in here. I'm doing a Bible study. You come in here, you gotta leave me alone, okay? Now, what was your question again, Brenda? I'm sorry, I caught half of what you said.
One of the Bible studies that I taught, the teacher told us something about this chapter precedes Babel and follows it as well. The Tower of Babel is in Genesis 11. But he really didn't go into it, so I was wondering if either one of you knew anything more about that, why he said it precedes Babel as well as follows.
I don't know. I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'll be honest with you, Brenda. I just glanced over the chapter, and all I seen basically was pretty much all I seen was a family tree. I was going to do a little bit of study on it. I just didn't quite get a chance to really look into it like I normally do for every chapter. I could see what David Guzik says, and maybe that might be able to help you on some of this. So let me do that real quick.
Yeah, okay. Because the only thing I can figure out is that it's around Genesis 10 where the people start. I just lost the word I wanted. They start wanting to build the tower, but then. I don't know. I can't think of the.
Oh my gosh! Now my computer's just popping up.
Word I wanted. Memory. Now I can't.
Dang.
It's kind of like Genesis 10.
All right, I'm getting it pulled up now. My
They
computer's being.
were building the tower at this time too. Languages were confused. That people couldn't understand. A computer.
Computer being a computer.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking, and so far, it's just like I said, it's just genealogy. That's all I'm seeing
Yeah,
from David Guzik right now.
see what I'm reading.
Oh, okay.
Book of the genealogy to Adam. Wait a minute. What am I? I'm on chapter. I'm looking chapter 5, not chapter 11. I'm an idiot. I was looking at 5 instead of chapter 10. No wonder I wasn't seeing anything. Okay, the sons of. Okay. Looks like so far all David Guzik is doing is talking about the descendants.
Chapter 5, what
Yeah, 5 was just from Adam to or.
chapter 5 is.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like all David Guzik here, he just talking, just going through the genealogy. When we get to the next chapter, I'm sure we'll get into that more, but that would make sense because right now the world's repopulating, and it's going to repopulate, and then they're going to, next chapter we'll talk about Babylon, and I'll leave it up to you if you want to do 11 too. If not, I can take 11. It don't matter.
Genesis 5 and 11 are what they called vertical genealogy, which moves quickly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When you think about it, when you're reading it, move quickly through there.
Yeah, because that's what I found was 5. Because 1 through 4, we went from Adam to his son, to Cain and Abel, and then it seems like from 5, and all of a sudden, boom, we went clear up to Noah. And it's like Noah wasn't just there. There's a lot of people before Noah. So yeah, you're right. It was a quick. It's like here's Adam. Adam's gone now. Here's Noah. Noah's gone now. Here's Abraham. Abraham, and so on and so on.
Yeah. This is kind of boom, 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 because it's going in terms of the blessings of the family blessings.
Yeah, and those are the ones that the Bible does point out a lot, and that's the ones we stick on with quite a bit before we move on. Like you said, we'll jump real quick to the next big person, and we'll be on him for chapters on end, and then so on and so on.
So, Genesis 10, 1 through 5 is the table of nations. This is the account of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, who themselves had sons after the flood. 2 through 5 are the Japhethites. So who wants to handle all those names?
I'll be nice. I'll take a stab. Okay, you want to, Johnny? I'll let you. If not, I'll take a stab at it. And you can take a stab at the next one.
I can't see that. Too small.
Alright. I'll take a stab at this one. If you want to try the next one, Johnny, or whatever, or I can read. I understand on your end on the phone it might be small. I can see on my end because I got a bigger screen. Alright, I'll go ahead and take a chance at it, but I'll probably butcher them.
I'm sorry. I keep forgetting Johnny's still on a cell phone. I should have made that bigger.
No, that's alright. Well, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use my phone. because I can look at my phone easier and I can't looking at that screen. Not, and you did a good job, Brendan. I'm not criticizing what you did. It's gonna be easy to read it from my phone. Let me go to NIV because I
Yeah.
got on easy reading right now, and we're reading 1 through 5. So
Yeah.
this is the account of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, who themselves had sons after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Mesech, and Taras. The sons of Gomer. I'm gonna. You know what? Well, never mind. Ash, Kenaz, Ripeth, and Togarmah. The sons of Japheth. You know what? I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna let my phone read it because it'll say it right. And if you want for all the names, I can do it this way. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit.
Genesis 10. This is the account of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, who themselves had sons after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. The sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, the Kittites, and the Rodanites. From these the maritime people spread out into their territories by their clans within their nations, each with its own language.
Okay, I'll pause it. When we get to the next one, it can start right back up with the name, so I can do it that way for us. So we're getting the name.
Oh,
so we're
okay.
hearing the names correctly.
Yeah. So, sons of Japheth, from what I was understanding, they spread east and west to form the Indo-European nations, which is what I considered more like the northern half, northern above the Mediterranean Sea, like where Turkey and Greece and that's at. Like Gomer settled north in relation to north, settled north in the region in relation to Israel was more north, most likely modern day eastern Turkey. Is what the map, what I seen on the map. Magog with Tubal Meshech, probably the area of the Scythians in modern day Turkey and south central Russia. Madai, the Medes. Javan, the Greeks, and these are just some of the verses that I'd come up with, like Ezekiel 38:6 says, also Gomer with all its troops and Beth Togarmah from the far north with all its troops, the many nations with you. Ezekiel 27:13, Greece, Tubal, and Meshech did business with you. They traded human beings and articles of bronze for your wares. And then Meshech and 32:26, Meshech and Tubal are there with their hordes around their graves. All of them are uncircumcised, killed by the sword, because they spread their terror in the land of the living. And it just kind of says, basically it says what they did in those areas, like Isaiah 21:2, a dire vision has been shown to me. The traitor betrays the looter, takes loot. Elam attacked Media, lay siege. I will bring to an end all the groaning she caused. And Daniel 8:21, the shaggy goat is the king of Greece, and the large horn between its eyes is the first king, which is talking about one of the symbols in Daniel. Oh, I wonder what happened to Daniel 10:20. I don't have that one up here. But this one right here shows, and it shows all the ones in blue are the ones that Japheth are Japheth's children. So these are the areas that they inhabited,
Okay. Well, you kind of answered a
which
question I
would
was going to
be,
ask then, because that's what I noticed. Cause I've noticed that too. When I did my genealogy and I got to the 12 tribes of Judah or 12 tribes of Israel, and Israel and all them, they were names of countries. So this kind of answers my question. And so that's basically where those people basically resided, and they just named their country after their own names. And that's how a lot of countries came to
yeah,
be. Which is surprising when you do a study to realize a lot of countries, they're actually somebody's name. That makes me wonder, like
yeah,
Indiana, Ohio, and all that, if that was somebody's name. Then whose name's
yeah,
the United
Indiana
States of America?
Jones. Yeah, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that's an interest. It's
I
interesting
know
when you
you
start figuring this
remember.
out. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, until they started changing those names, because now, like, I can't remember what was Iraq called before it was Iraq.
Babylon,
And then, huh?
Babylon,
What? Oh,
Babylon.
yeah. And, yeah, that's it. And then Persia became Iran. And it's just interesting why they changed some names, but not others. Like Egypt never changed. Canaan
Yeah,
never changed. The sons of Ham spread out on the other side of the Mediterranean Sea. Where's your recording?
okay,
15
Sons of
through
Ham,
18.
okay.
Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. Sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Ramah, and Sabtica. The sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. Cush was the father of Nimrod, who became a mighty warrior on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. That is why it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The first centers of his kingdom were Babylon, Uruk, Akkad, and Calneh in Shinar. From that land he went to Assyria, where he built Nineveh, Rehoboth Ir, Calah, and Resen, which is between Nineveh and Calah, which is the great city.
Okay, how far do you want me to go down to? I'm up to 13 now.
14.
Okay, up to 14.
Egypt was the
14.
father of the Ludites, the Anamites, Lehabites, Naphtuhites, Pathrasites, Caslahites, from whom the Philistines came, and Caphtorites.
Yeah, there ain't no way I'd be able to pronounce half of those names.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, that phone helps out
Me neither.
tremendously on that. All right, did you want me to go any further? I stopped at the end of 14.
Right now, just that's okay right
Okay.
there. Later the Canaanite clan scattered 19 and scattered, and the borders of Canaan reached from Sidon toward Gerar as far as Gaza, and then toward Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah, and Zebulun as far as Lasha. But and we won't get see this until chapter 11. But one thing I learned about Ham and Canaan, when Ham went in and he saw his father naked, Noah was naked, drunk, and he passed out and he was naked. When Ham went in to see his father naked, and then went and told his two sons, it was interesting because um, I think God never punished Ham. He never cursed Ham. He cursed Canaan instead, which was Ham's youngest son. And it was interesting because usually God's punishing the person that sinned, but he kind of skipped Ham and went to Canaan. And from what I understand, it's because Canaan was the most sinful country. And let's see. Okay, now everything in green is Canaan, which even includes Babel or Babel.
Yeah.
I don't understand because some of these translations, the country of Put is also pronounced with an H or spelled with an H, Phut, and I'm not sure why why the different spellings.
Mm.
But I never realized they actually. I never realized the three sons and their descendants spread out so far.
Yeah.
I mean, they even went in. This is Africa, where Egypt is Africa.
No. No. No.
Oh, I keep forgetting it, doesn't it? Okay. Huh. Okay, then the sons of Shem, which these are mainly the ones that I think these are the ones that are the lineage for Jesus. Jesus's lineage comes from.
Okay. Yeah, I meant to look at that.
There it is.
I was curious on two. Is the line of Jesus. I know one of the three sons was used, but I don't think all of them were. And I can't remember which one. So yeah, I think you might be right. It might be Shem. I know it was one of the three, but I can't remember which one. But yeah, it might be like you said.
Yeah.
It might be Shem.
Yeah, because I know I remember seeing Shem's name, but I just can't remember his son's name, which son it comes from. Okay, the two sons were of, okay, the sons of Shem. Yeah, I don't understand. Okay. The sons of Shem, the two sons were born to Eber. One was named Peleg. Is that the one that was in Jesus' line?
Yeah, it was Peleg. I think it's how it's pronounced. But yeah.
Okay. Because in his time the earth was divided. His brother was named Joktan. Joktan was the father of Abadad, Shileth, Hazarmaveth, Jared, Hadoram, Uzel, Dikla, Obel, Abimael, Sheba. There's Sheba. Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan. And that's interesting too because
Okay, it was Noah, Shem, and then Aphrodite. Aphrodite was the son of Shem that they used.
Yeah, okay.
I cheated. I pulled it up from I took a picture on my phone. I just went to that.
Oh, okay.
Because like you
The
said,
reason
Shem,
why-
I wanted to verify that too, and that verified that. So
Yeah, okay. The region where they lived stretched from Mesha towards Sefer in the eastern hill country. And these are the sons of Shem by their clans and languages in their territories and nations. These are the clans of Noah's sons according to their lines of descent within their nations. From these, the nations spread out over the earth after the flood. And then I wanted to find out why this name changed from Shem to the Semites, but I couldn't find anything why it did that, but this, but for some reason they called Shem's line as the Semites. Sons were also born to Shem, whose older brother was Japheth. Shem was the ancestor of all the sons of Eber. The sons of Shem, Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram, Uz, Hul, Ether, and Meshach. Arphaxad was the father of Shelah, and Shelah the father of Eber. Okay. And then, of course, Shem's descendants are all in orange. Wow. For as many names as I read just then, they don't seem to have as many countries. Aram, Asher, Elam, Ophir, Sheba, Hebermeth. These are, yeah, Hazard. I'll just call them Hazard.
Okay. All right.
But I read so many more names.
I know, and I don't want to interrupt you,
That's
but
all.
as you're reading through them, and I'm looking at my lineage sheet here, and after Noah, it goes to Shem, Aphrixad, Selah, Ebar, Peleg, Reu, and I think we went up to, I know we read Peleg, went up to Peleg, Ebar, and Shelah, and heard you saying those three names. Aphrixad, I think you said that one too. And that's only 4 names out of all those names too, and you went through a bunch of names. So genealogy,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of names are cut out of this genealogy.
Yeah.
But it's,
There's all the names right there on the 2 pages, and I don't remember seeing Peleg or
yeah,
Joktan or Almadad as in any of these
yeah,
countries.
and you're part of the lineage too.
Huh?
I said you're part of the lineage too, so that just, I don't know, maybe we don't need to think too much into that, but that's just wow. Going through the
Well,
genealogy is,
so what I was thinking, maybe if they populated the whole world, maybe those people, maybe those guys went to other parts of the world,
could
like
be.
maybe over to China and that, went farther east and farther north.
Let's see something.
But the text doesn't really say where they went.
Here is information from Wikipedia.
Okay. I was just trying to see if they had a Peleg where the country was, just out of curiosity, but I'm not seeing anything.
I remember seeing that name as a country, but I don't remember which map it was.
Yeah. What
Like I
country
said,
is
maybe
Peleg
they-
in?
Maybe they went farther east.
Israel.
According to Wikipedia, Peleg is a common first name and surname in
But-
Israel,
but
also
ain't-
being the root lettering for sailing, Lehaflig, in a military half-bivouac tent, Peleg Ohel.
Okay. But is it Israel close to Egypt, or is that somewhere totally different? I'm not sure.
Israel's close to Canaan. It's in that region where Canaan's at.
Huh.
Oh, that's where I've seen Peleg,
Okay.
is in this country of Israel.
Okay.
I knew I'd seen it someplace.
Ain't Google great?
And, yeah. Yeah, it helps me because that's where I found the little operating manual for OBS.
Yeah.
But in Genesis 10:32, it says, right, yeah, this is where it says they're filling the earth, the genealogy of Noah. Next are the families of the sons of Noah, according to their genealogies by their nations, and from these the nations spread all over the earth after the flood. So maybe I'm thinking the rest of Shem's family, maybe they went east, more east. that's off this map that we just don't see off this map.
Hmm.
More east where India and them are at. Because he had a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And yet there's only six mentioned here, so they have to be on the other where you can't see them.
Yeah. And see, and that just goes to show when I did my study on the genealogy, I just went from Adam to Jesus. And you just went reading this, and we're seeing right here that if we were to follow the full family line leading from Adam to Jesus, it splits up in so many ways as you're reading right here. And this is just a few branches out of the many other branches yet to come. And we could spend years studying genealogy if you really want to look at each and every one of them. And it's a lot.
Yeah, I think the main thing we need to remember though is right here in Genesis 10:32, according to the genealogies by their nations, and from these the nations spread over the earth after the flood. So basically, these three people helped to populate the whole earth again. So hang on to your hats, folks. Keep calm, because you ain't seen nothing yet.
I like that.
Because now you got Genesis 11.
Yeah. And like I said, I can take 11 unless, like I said, if you wanted to take that to tie in with what you just did, I'm good either way. I mean, I can do 11 too. That's fine.
Well, I can do 11. You didn't say anything about 11, so I thought, that's what I thought you were going to do 11. But
I haven't studied it
you
yet.
want me to?
If you want to, I'll go ahead and let you take 11, and then I'll start working on 12 because I'm still finishing Acts 23. So this will give me this week a chance to finish that up and get that video out there, and then I'll start working on 12. I'll still look at 11 this week and, see what kind of stuff I come up with along with what you come up with.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll go ahead and let you do 11. And then, Johnny, if you want, you can look ahead. And if you find a particular chapter that you would like to do, let us know. And you can pick a chapter or you can just wait till we come to you. But yeah, if there's a particular chapter that you find interesting that you want to do, Johnny, just speak up.
Unless Johnny wants to do chapter 11, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, whatever's cool.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you time. Brenda's going to go ahead and take 11. I'll take 12, and I'll go ahead and give you 13, Johnny. So you got some time to look over it. And if 13 looks too difficult for you, go ahead and say something, and I can take, and we can jump to whatever chapter works for you. But take a look at 13. If 13 works for you, Johnny, we'll give you chapter 13 because that'll give you a good couple weeks easy.
Okay. That's perfect.
So I kind of like that because this gives me another week to finish up on chapter 23. Okay. Keep thinking. I gotta quit. I gotta quit telling myself I'll get this done in a certain time frame because every time I do, it never seems to work out that way.
Stop saying that, and then it will.
I know. I need to quit saying I'm going to get it done this week.
I didn't even know if I was going to get this done because I've been so busy trying to edit my next book's kit so I can get it to the publisher before my conventions because I want to be able to take some copies to sell the 2 conventions I've got set up. Well, so I've been working on that.
Well, what I'm thinking, and Lord forbid, and I'm sure eventually it'll happen, let's just say we get to chapter 12. Or we get to chapter 13 and we get here and Johnny says, I don't quite have anything ready. You know what we'll do? We'll just say, that's fine. We'll do a live Bible study and we'll just read, a section, discuss it, and then read the next section. I mean, there's no rule in the rule book saying how we have to do this. I mean, it can change from week to week. So if we get to a chapter and neither one of us had a chance to study it, so what? We can go over it, we can study it, and then maybe come back to it the following week, or, next week go on the next one. Like I said, it's one of those things that we just play it by ear, week by week, and what happens happens.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're still online. It hasn't kicked off yet.
Oh, wow.
I'm
It's like
surprised.
45 minutes. It's been 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Usually it kicks off about 45 minutes.
So I hate to say, even though I like this thing, but I'm thinking this thing's causing more issues than what it's worth. So maybe I'll just stop using it.
Now, mine, if I don't have it plugged in, then you guys can't hear me.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I'll listen to it later, see if it still gets staticky or not, because for some reason I think that microphone was causing the staticness. Because when I watched the last one I went live on, it wasn't staticky, and you can hear me, but the moment I plugged in that mic, the static instantly started. So that leads me to believe that that's causing interference somehow. And it might be something in the settings that I just don't really understand how to mess with yet.
Yeah. Well, that study went a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. I didn't think it was going to take that long.
So I actually think this worked out pretty well. So what I might just do is, I ain't gonna lie, I might be a little lazy this, because we really don't need to edit much. The only editing I've been doing is adding a prayer picture and the music, but we really don't need that. So I can just, basically just let it go on Facebook, and they can just see live what we're doing, and then it's. I don't think anybody is accusing us of hiding anything. I'm just trying to make it look nice, but like I said, there ain't no sense of editing. It's a Bible study. That's what a Bible study is. You got your hold on, what's this? Let me, that's all part of Bible study. So we're just showing the world exactly what a Bible study is and how Bible studies work. So, and obviously you're going to have silence here and there, and that's just part of what it is. So I might just keep it going like this way and do it, and then just post it, because that's what the church does anyway. I mean, she don't really go through and edit everything. It just, because we do it live, it is what it is. You see what you get, and what you get's what you get.
Well, they might not have to get up and let a dog out.
No, because I let her out before we started, and she hasn't hollered to go out again yet. She's just been hollering for attention. So when I leave for Cedar Point or stuff like that, I'm going to have my friend watch her and let him know you just have to give her some attention or she'll get mad. I know she'll go nuts if she goes a week here and she gets let out twice a day or whatever, or no attention. She ain't going to be a happy camper. I know that.
Yeah. No, she's used to attention.
Because I've even talked to my sister, and I'm thinking about going down to Indy for a week this summer, since with DoorDash I can work anywhere, and if I ain't tied down with a bus for a week, I can take a week, go down to Indy and see my niece and nephew and get to see if I can make any money in Indy or not. Heck, if I do good enough in Indy, I might make that a yearly routine.
Well, I didn't know DoorDash was all over.
Yeah, I can go pretty much almost any city. I mean, they're not in every single city, but Indy's a big city. I know they're in Indy. And I can even take my niece with me, DoorDash, and so that gives us an excuse to hang out. It's just, you'd be stuck in a car for a day, but, hey, I'd make sure she'd go out and get something to eat while we're working and use the restroom when she needs and stuff like that. But I'm sure as long as she's got her phone, she'll probably be a happy camper.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah. If Texas wasn't so far away, John, I'd come there and DoorDash during the summer.
Dang, I wish you could.
That's just a far distance, and I can't afford to get a room for a week, and that would take me a couple days to get there. It'd be one of those things that each day I'd be dashing in another state until I got there, and then I'd be dashing in another state until I got back. Like one day I'll dash in Indiana, next day I'll dash in Tennessee, next day I'll dash in whatever the next state is or whatever.
Well, when can I go visit you? And Brenda too.
Yeah. Yeah, Brenda followed too. Stick Brenda in a car for a week.
That'd be fun.
uh,
Only if you stop and let me sightsee.
oh, you'd be sightseeing all day long because we'd be door dashing. She'd be seeing all kinds of sights.
If it takes as long to get the food at some of those drive-thrus as you said it takes, I'd have a lot of time to take pictures.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's going to scare me about India is not knowing that city, and it'd be a lot of restaurants I'd be getting to and have to on a sign because it would take forever. And I would have to learn to be patient and basically give them 20 minutes. If it ain't ready in 20 minutes, I'm moving on, unless it's like a $20+ for that delivery.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
different
there you
cities.
go. There you go. God's giving you a chance to work on your patience.
Oh, he's been giving me excuses. I need to quit asking him about it.
Yeah.
I done asked him about it. He put me in a school bus, so I learned my lesson from then.
You never heard that phrase, never ask for patience?
Yeah, I've asked for patience, and he never stopped working with me on it. He's still working with me on it.
Somebody said that, told me that a long time. You don't want to ask for patience because God will give you patience, but not in the way you want.
Yeah. Well, and here's the beautiful thing is I've been learning a lot of stuff kids do on a bus would irritate the living daylights out of most people. I've learned to just tune them out. Oh, he's hitting me. He's cussing. He took my stuff. And I was like, just give it back. Or half the time, or he's hitting me or stuff like that. Depending on what they're saying, most of the time I ignore it because they're just doing it to get attention or trying to get somebody in trouble and I didn't do it. Or like, he took my book bag. And he's like, I didn't take your book bag. You're just trying to get me in trouble. Some of it's funny and some of it's just, they're kids and they're going to be kids. And I just got to keep that in the back of my mind. And kids are going to be kids.
Yeah.
You should bring your bus to Texas.
So what? Bring my bus to Texas? Yeah.
That's like the drive, the school bus.
Yeah.
Just bring it.
Well, heck, if they let me work and they fill it up, hey, I can drive the states in that, but hey, I'd have plenty of room to sleep in that sucker.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, we should party in that bus.
Just take out the back 4 seats, put a bed back there, I'm good to go.
Oh, dude, that would be awesome.
Oh, I've seen you live in a couple shows that they took school bus and they've actually lived in them. They've actually they got beds, bathrooms, I mean, everything you need in a house. They got kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, TV, I mean, you name it, it's all there. Now, granted,
Dang.
It'd be like your living room, putting everything in your house, shoving it all in your living room, and you're living out of one room. It can be done, but it's not something that everybody can do. Who knows, maybe when I retire, I might do something like that. But I don't know, I got too much crap to try to attempt that now.
You couldn't get all your stuff in that little tiny school bus.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go ahead and finish this with prayer so I can at least pop off of it. We can keep talking, but let's go ahead and get our prayer so I can turn this off so this video don't go too long.
Okay.
But I'm leaving it up to you, Brendan, how you end the prayer, because, like I said, when you're in charge, it's how you want to do it. It don't have to be the same way each week.
Okay. Well, I was going to start and then have you go next and have Johnny end the prayer.
That's perfect.
Okay. Heavenly Father, thank you for this time of spending together, helping us to learn more of your word and learning how you populated the world after the flood. It was very interesting to find out how these guys all moved around in this area, and help us to understand more of it as you take us through this week and bring us back next week safe and sound in Jesus' name.
Dear Lord, we just thank you once again for the opportunity to go through your word, Lord. And Lord, that we do thank you that when we ask for stuff like patience or whatever, that we shouldn't be afraid to ask, but we should make sure we're ready for it when we ask. But just going through the study, Lord, it amazes me and puzzles me how we go in there doing a study, going in basically getting an answer, and then coming out with more questions. With all these names through this genealogy, but yet only a very few of them are really pulled out. The rest of them are like, well, we hear their name once and that's the end of it. We know you got a purpose behind all that, Lord. Just help us that we don't get too caught up in certain names and stuff like that, that the focus is you, but we do understand that it is okay to take the time and do the studies like this, like we're doing, but just help us that we don't get too tied up into it, that we stay focused on the main focus, and the main focus is you, Lord. So help us to stay focused on you, that we do your study, that we understand why it's in the Bible, because we know if it's in the Bible, it's at least worth looking into. So once again, Lord, I thank you for everything that you have done and everything that you will do.
Dear Lord, thank you for helping me acknowledge what I studied today. Thank you for Chris and Brenda and my brother and our family. Just guide us to the right path and open our eyes. Let us see what you want us to see, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.